I'm going to show you where you can find some free high quality textures for your Blender projects. So I use these in my materials. You can see them here. There's just the little details like smudges, scratches, edge wear, that kind of thing. Just gives you that extra layer of photorealism. So the first thing we're going to look at is ArtStation. This is a really good website. It's got a whole marketplace and a lot of free things. So if you go into the price here and just take this down to the bottom, there we go. You can have a look at all of these completely free. Now, not all of them will be CC0 or the CC0 license, but there are a good amount that are. The best one that I use is Free Surface Imperfections. I've not been paid to say this or that, I just use this one. There's a lot of stuff here. You've got kind of decals, so you can apply these. Just a lot of different things. You've got like dirt, scratch textures that are all sort of seamless and tiled, so you can just apply them as much as you want. You've got water stains, anything. And you can see here there's like little smudges that I use here, the kind of fingerprint marks, and then just little general dirt scratches and that sort of thing. And it really just gives you that extra level of realism, and especially in CAD models, especially in kind of engineering visualization. So the next thing we're going to look at is free PBR. This website's been up for God knows how long. There's again some paid stuff, but there are a lot of just really good free ones. If you go into where have you gone? Yeah, categories. You can find pretty much anything you need, like metals. Let's have a look here. They come with loads of textures as well as your kind of bump maps and that sort of thing, just so you can really get some high quality stuff. Again, there's loads of things in here. You've got even sort of sci-fi stuff. You've got like really a lot of greebling and that kind of thing. So free PBR is really good. The next one we're going to look at, this is one that not a lot of people know about, but a lot more people should know about. Blender Studio. They've got loads of things here. The two big ones that come up when you go into these, if you go into asset bundles, one of the ones here is human base meshes. I know this isn't textures, but this is under the CC0 license. This is really useful if you're trying to get like scale references, particularly for like architectural visualization, that sort of thing. This one, the cube diorama here, which you can see there in the thumbnail, comes with a lot of materials and it's CC0, so you can use it however you want. So the next one here is Polyhaven. This is a great resource. It's just a big, completely, like I said, it's public 3D asset library. It has HDRIs, textures, models, that kind of thing. A lot of what I use it for is HDRIs. So you have a lot of these studio ones. So this is what I'm using here. This is a studio one. So you don't have to actually place any lights here. I've not got any lights in the Blender scene here. I'm just using this HDRI, and you get all this really high detail reflection. That you've got this big light, and kind of the other smaller lights around it, and then you get all the reflections. So like I said, Polyhaven's got loads of things, really high quality textures of pretty much anything you could ever want. Like you've got terrain, you've got all this kind of stones and that kind of thing. So if we go into metal, which is what I use quite a lot, we've got all these different kind of textures, and they all come with. You can even just take some parts from some textures and some from others. So say you really like maybe the bump map of this because it's got these kind of like rusted areas here and these like scratched off areas, but you like the texture of this, you can just combine them, because like I said right here, it's under the CC0 license, so you can use it however you want. So the last one we're going to look at here is Quixel. Now this is a bit of a weird one. It is paid, but if you're using Unreal Engine as your endpoint, as your destination, it is free to use. They have an agreement, Quixel and Epic Games have an agreement. So if you're using Unreal 5 to do your rendering, say you're doing architectural visualization, a lot of people use Unreal because of the real-time rendering it gives. If you're using those textures or the megascans themselves in Unreal Engine, then you're allowed to use it for free. So it comes with, like I said, these megascans, which are just really high quality scans of real objects, and all of them come with realistic textures and that kind of thing. And I've used them in Unreal Engine projects before, and they're really high quality because they're built for Unreal Engine's rendering system. So it's literally just plug and play. You can just drop it into the engine and it works perfectly, and everything looks great. If you're not using these kind of masks and textures in your renders, then I feel like you're really leaving a lot on the table in terms of the realism you can achieve in your renders, because again, you don't even have to do any of the complex UV unwrapping stuff. This is all procedural. I've just taken the textures and used some vectors and that kind of thing. And even when you zoom in, like if you zoom all the way in, this looks a bit weird at the moment because of the kind of curve it's using. You can adjust this and you can fine tune it, but really when you zoom out, it doesn't make much of a difference. But it adds that subtle little layer of this has been worked with. This is people have picked this up with their hands, and even if you're trying to go for sort of fresh off the factory floor thing, you're going to get little bits of dust, you're going to get that kind of thing. You're going to get a lot of little slight imperfections, and once you start adding them, even in like tiny, tiny amounts, it really, really just brings out your renders and brings them to a whole new level.